Today, their countryside has changed. Today, their island has been converted into a gigantic bomber field, a super aircraft carrier with hangars and machine shops, with hundreds of dispersal points, perimeter tracks, and concrete runways.
The original 1942 from Capcom was released in the arcades in 1984. The original Battle of Midway took place over the Pacific Ocean in 1942. But in whatever alternate reality Capcom created, the Battle of Midway takes place in 1943 in this game. And airplanes can shoot laser beams, spread shots, magic cows appear over battleships, and give you more energy. So this game is somewhat fictional in its nature, but on the other hand, it's a video game. And Capcom does an excellent job with it, even if they didn't really adhere to the truth. So what are we looking at? A vertical, scrolling shoot-'em-up, and a damn good one at that. What really impresses me about 1943, and I didn't get this so much back in the day when I played this as a kid, but revisiting many of these old games as I do now, I find that a lot of games on the Nintendo in particular have pretty sloppy controls. Like Atari games are fairly straightforward, you only have so many things you can do, it's only got one button, and most of those games are more of an arcade style, like Space Invaders or Pac-Man or something. But the Nintendo started bringing out a lot of the two-dimensional side-scrollers, like Russian Attack and Contra and Blaster Master. And I'm naming some of the really good games, but there were many others that just really suffer from nasty, nasty controls and absolutely repetitive gameplay. 1943 is the complete opposite. This game plays tremendously and really feels like an arcade shooter. In fact, I think this is easily one of the best vertical scrolling shooters on the Nintendo, and if you haven't played this, you need to hunt this game out and find it, because it's challenging, it's a lot of fun. The music sounds a lot like the music in Bionic Commando, except much worse. Excellent cartridge design, and we're now coming up to the magic TP where I can upgrade my airplane. Let's get into some of the gameplay here, because it's really nice and is different than many other shooters. For one thing, it's somewhat like Sylphid in a way, in that you only have one life, and after you die, that's it, the game's over. So on the bottom right's an energy meter. Obviously, you don't want to let your energy run out or you die. On the bottom left is your special weapon meter. Now that's very important, and throughout the game you'll see me approach these pink things that say power or look like a grenade with straws or something. And when you get those, it gives you the special weapon, which is like the 3-shot, or you see a couple other ones here and there. One of the things I always like to think about when playing a game like this is who is the enemy that you're fighting against, and if you were to put yourself in their shoes, if you were just one of the minions who flies the airplanes in a predictable pattern towards this single lone fighter destroying your entire army, what's going through your mind? And then there's the people in the end bosses, and they're just sitting there like, man, once this guy memorizes our shot patterns, we're screwed. 1943 starts out as a fairly easy game and then gets much more challenging as it progresses. The enemies start coming from behind you and swirling all around you. The end bosses are usually fairly clever battleships or aircraft carriers or other huge, ridiculous enemy bombers. Granted, the backgrounds aren't much to write home about. They really are just an endless, never-ending ocean of water, which an ocean kind of is, so I guess they did get that right, but every now and then they throw in some clouds or islands. Now they mixed this up for 1942 Joint Strike, and obviously the Nintendo is much older than the Xbox 360 or PS3, so they used what they had here, and the strength of this game lies in the gameplay and the controls. I was playing this with the amazing NES Advantage, which gives you an incredible arcade joystick and the rapid fire. Now, you had to turn the rapid fire off to use the powered-up weapon, which I held down the button, and you'll notice every now and then, like, giant lasers will shoot out the front of my airplane. So it's a bit of multitasking on the NES Advantage if you're using that controller, but I also recommend it because that gives you the most realistic arcade feel. They've made numerous sequels to this game, 1944. Sadly, we have not yet gotten to 1984, a shooting game, which would be a trifecta of awesomeness. And let me explain. 1984, honoring the year 1942, was released, where you're flying an airplane through George Orwell's dystopian vision of the future in his book 1984 while rocking out to Hot for Teacher in Van Halen's album 1984. You get to grow a mullet, get in your fighter plane, and take down Big Brother all in one video game. On this note, let us remember the countless minions of enemy pilots and sailors who were destroyed while playing the video game 1943.
To those men, this film is gratefully dedicated.